Okay, so taking a look at E, how many of each item did you buy? Answer this question using the system of equations and substitution method. Write your answer in a complete sentence. So taking a look, I want to rewrite my system 1 and 2. Equation 1, 3s plus 5p equals 66. And equation 2, s equals 2p. I'm so happy that equation 2 already has s isolated. So of course, to be organized, I'm going to create my t-table. I'm going to start with equation 2, so I'll put that on the left, s equals 2p. And then equation 1 I'll put on the right, 3s plus 5p equals 66. Okay, s is already isolated, so I'll give it a bubble and let it float over to equation 1. So I'll have 3 times the quantity of 2p plus 5p is equal to 66. Let's multiply. 3 times 2p, 6p, plus 5p equals 66. Combine like terms. 6p plus 5p is 11p equals 66. To isolate my variable, I need to divide both sides by 11. And I get p equals to 6. But you're not done. That's just how many pants we bought, and we need to answer also how many shirts. So bring that back up to equation 2. S equals 2 times 6, which means S equals 12. Don't forget to write your answer this time in a complete sentence. So my complete sentence is going to be that I bought 6 pairs of pants and 12 shirts. Awesome. Let's continue on to the next page. Turning the page, looking at number 2, we have Xavier and Carlos, and they have a bet on who can get more likes on a social media site after 1 month. Carlos has 5 more likes than Xavier when they start the competition. After much work, Carlos doubles his amount of likes and Xavier triples his. In the end, they have a total of 160 likes together. Go ahead, read the problem again and make sure to underline the important information. Okay, so looking at the problem again, something that you might have underlined is 5 more likes than Xavier, Carlos has. And the end, they have a total of 160 likes. Carlos doubles his amount of likes, Xavier triples his at the end of the competition. So let's see. What are the 2 unknowns in this situation? The 2 unknowns are the number of likes Carlos starts with and the number of likes Xavier starts with. Since we have 2 unknowns, we probably have 2 restrictions in this situation. One restriction is Carlos starts with how many more friends? 5 more likes. Carlos starts with 5 more likes. And another restriction, oh, I see it. At the end, Carlos doubles and Xavier triples to have a total of how many likes? 160 likes all together. Let's define our variables and write 2 equations that represent this situation. Let's use C for number of likes Carlos starts with. And let's use X for number of likes Xavier starts with. So now I need two equations. Let's start with Carlos starts with 5 more likes. So who has more likes to start with? Carlos does. So C equals 5 more than Xavier, or it's equal to X plus 5. The next restriction is at the end, Carlos doubles his and Xavier triples his to have a total of 160. Total means to add. How many friends does Carlos start with? C. So if we double his, he'll have 2C. And if we triple Xavier's X friends that he started with, we'll have 3X, which equals the total of 160. Write in words which equation represents what in context. So let's write the first equation we came up with, C equals X plus 5, and the second one, which is 2C plus 3X equals 160. What does equation 1 represent? Start of competition. And equation 2 represents the end of competition. So now let's answer the question. How many likes did each boy start with? Answer this question using the system of equations and the substitution method. Write your answer in a complete sentence. Let's start by writing my system. C equals X plus 5. And 2 is 2C plus 3X equals 160. Which equation is most efficient to isolate which variable? Oh hey, in equation 1, C is already isolated. So let's write our t-table and write down our system. 2C plus 3X equals 160. Go ahead, solve the system. It shouldn't take you much more than 3 minutes. Please pause the video and give them 3 minutes to finish this problem. Okay, hopefully that was enough time. Taking a look, you should have ended up with Xavier starts with 30 likes and Carlos starts with 35 likes. And here's my work if you have questions. Awesome. So we are going to be skipping problem 3. So turn to page 23. We'll be finishing 3 together next time I see you. So let's look at number 4. Bonnie has 86 coins made up of dimes and quarters. The total value of all the coins is $14.60. Go back and underline important information in the story. What's something that's important? She has 86 coins. She only has dimes and quarters, and she has a total of $14.60. What are the unknowns in this situation? What type of questions could I ask you? That's right. It's the number of dimes, and it's the number of quarters. What are the restrictions in this situation? Going back to the story, what are the details that make this context? One restriction is I have 86 coins, or I'm sorry, Bonnie has 86 coins. And the other restriction is that there's a total of how much money? $14.60. So now let's define our variables and write 2 equations that represent this situation. So I'm going to use D to equal the number of dimes Bonnie has, and Q to equal the number of quarters that Bonnie has. Let's talk about the first restriction, 86 coins. If I have D dimes and Q quarters for a total of 86 coins, What's that restriction? The number of dimes plus the number of quarters equals 86. So D plus Q is equal to 86. Reminder, since we're using lowercase letters as our variables that we defined, we need to continue using lowercase letters in our equations. The other restriction is I have a total of $14.60. Well, I know it's going to be equal to $14.60, and I only have dimes and quarters. Well, if I have D dimes, how much money do I have in dimes? How much is one dime worth? 0.10. So if I take the value of one dime times the number of dimes, I get how much money I have just in dimes. Let's think about the same thing with quarters. I have Q quarters. How much does 1 quarter? How much is the value of 1 quarter? 1 quarter is 25 cents. So the total amount of money I have in quarters is the value of 1 quarter times the number of quarters. Excellent. Now we're ready to answer the question. So let's write our system down below. D plus Q equals 86, and 0.10D plus 0.25Q equals 14.60. Looking at equation 2, I'm not quite fond of all these decimals. So I'm going to multiply all of equation 2 by what? Well, I have to move 2 decimal places, so let's multiply by 100. So my new equation 2 is 10D plus 25Q equals 1,460. So let's decide which equation is most efficient to isolate which variable. You could choose D or Q in equation 1. Looking at equation 1, D plus Q equals 86. Write equation 2 on the other side. 10D plus 25Q is equal to 1,460. So looking at this, I'm going to isolate D in equation 1. D equals 86 minus Q. I'm going to bring that up over to equation 2. 10 times the quantity of 86 minus Q plus 25Q is equal to 1460. Continue by distributing 860 minus 10Q plus 25Q equals 1,460. Combine like terms and isolate Q. Use that value to solve for D. I'll give you 3 minutes to finish solving. Please pause the video and give them 3 minutes to finish solving the system. Okay, hopefully that was enough time to solve the system. How many dimes and how many quarters does Bonnie have? Well, it looks like Bonnie has 46 dimes and 40 quarters. Bonnie has 46 dimes and 40 quarters. Excellent. That's all I have for you to finish today. Feel free to work on homework. Do your best, be nice to everyone, and I will see you next class.